Hello there, INFJeniuses. It's been a while since I did a normal live, I guess. So we're going to talk about some of the strengths of INFJs that maybe you knew about, maybe you didn't. Hey, it's an open discussion. I won't be able to look at your comments as much, but if I'm at a stop, I can try to respond and say hello. So one thing I wanted to mention in this video as very good resources for all of you INFJeniuses are the teachings of Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius, and also Machiavellian. It's not a word I've practiced how to say, but you guys can look up more. If you're studying the INFJ traits, if you're trying to learn more about yourself, or maybe you're studying MBTI, the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and you're trying to figure out which of the 16 personalities you are. And last, but definitely not least, study the Bible, because that is the book of the ultimate truths which apply to everyone, no matter what your personality is. And on that note, also while I'm thinking about it, as a music teacher, I sort of developed just through my own experience and practice to tell students, I'm talking about music students, but this can apply to literally anything you want to do on a regular basis. 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day. So whether you're being a better musician or just becoming one, like start now, or you want to learn something, literally it could be anything. 5 minutes a day. Now, why did I tell my students technique, even though it seems ridiculous, it seems like not enough time? Well, because what I learned with all of my students and myself, no matter what the age, didn't matter if they were 5, 50, 75, 85, because I have had older students who have been very successful, is that where most people fail, regardless of age, is by not starting the activity of practice or study, whatever it is, every day. And 5 minutes does make a big difference. You would be surprised. If nothing else, to just retain what you did the previous day. But what really happens is if you actually get that far to start doing that for 5 minutes, most of the time you're going to spend 10, at least 10 or 15, But you don't have to. And that's the thing. It also takes that pressure or, I don't know, the procrastination. It gets rid of the procrastination a lot of the times because we tend to have this mindset of, oh, it's, I'm going to have to spend an hour on this and I don't got time for that. So anyway, the bottom line is that's one of the best things I ever learned as a teacher. And it was applied as a music teacher, but it really applies to anything. And I use that same principle now for reading the Bible every day. And I think of it just as like 2 or 3 verses a day. But it's really a minute a day, really. Maybe I should change it because it really is a secret weapon. And it makes doing more things and improving yourself, doing things that you want to do already, it makes it possible. It makes it easier. more manageable. And if you simply just did that for a couple months, a year, you're going to surprise yourself on how much you accomplished. You really will. Just because you'll look back and be like, wow, I was consistent and I actually did what I wanted to do. So yeah, hello everybody. Sorry it's hard to say hi, but I see Irma and Caitlin so far with a quick glance. Hello, it has been a little while since I did a INFJenius chat. Hopefully my signal will be good this whole drive. I think it will be. I actually packed a bunch of errands all into one day. I usually don't have to run around, thankfully, very often anymore. Most stuff I can do at home on the computer nowadays, which is a blessing. But I do want to talk about the title of this video, which was talking about the strengths, whether they be secret, known, or unknown, strengths of the INFJ. So, of course, you guys know about the intuition / discernment, if you're thinking on a spiritual level, of INFJs, whether it be relating with people, interpersonal relationships, whether it be events going on in the world. All you need is an INFJ to take a closer look at what's going on, or not even. And we are able to decipher a lot of things. And so that could be somebody talking like they're happy, but we can actually see that they're sad, or vice versa. Or body language stuff going on that most other people can't see, that we can recognize. That's why we tend to be really good at reading, for example, politicians, even actors off stage, that sort of thing. Because I say that because a lot of actors, especially the last 10 years or more, have become very political as far as speaking out about things, and some of them really having no business doing it, but they do anyway. And so we can read the body language of when somebody is speaking from real knowledge and experience, and when somebody is just speaking emotionally, which is what we see a lot of times too. And so if somebody is just speaking emotionally, and no matter how much they're trying to come across as calm and scientific or whatever, we can pick on it really just being an emotional, dramatic thing that they're doing, and they're just trying to get stuff off their chest, that sort of thing. We can pick up on that, and that's really powerful, because those kinds of things really help us navigate the world better than average. Because for those who just really go off of the words that people are saying without any deeper discernment or intuition on what their actual motive is, well, that can set you up for a world of pain and bad choices later. As we've seen, 2020 is a good example of things that were recommended to all of us, and I'd be willing to bet most INFJs took a close look and picked up on a lot of things really quick. And even a lot of us were talking about it, like, hey, you might want to pay attention to this, because there are some not so good motives going on with the whole deal. And sure enough, 5 years later, yeah, we're feeling pretty good about that response. Feeling really good. Okay, so that's one thing. INFJ strengths. One thing I wanted to address with our strengths too is that we really are highly capable of adapting and even adjusting our own behavior when we're aware of it, and like anyone else, willing and ready to make a change. Now, just because we're INFJs, this is sort of a pet peeve, does not mean we're walking on water, we've got it all figured out. Like some channels, some content creators will make it sound. We're not just, we're not perfect. And we all have to learn lessons in life and learn how to use the skills that we have. However, one of the INFJ strengths is to assess ourselves honestly, like painfully honest. We can be our own worst judge. However, if we use that self-judgment properly and don't use it as a means to be hard on ourselves, but to improve ourselves, we can change our habits, how we act, how we treat others, how we improve as individuals. Like I was saying, improve at whatever we want to improve at way better than average. And I don't think that's like a big-headed thing to say, because it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy to change, improve yourself, to make big changes. However, the first step in making big changes in your life is to honestly assess yourself. And that's something that we are excellent at doing. And most people, well, I shouldn't say most people, but a lot of people tend to be okay with the norm, the mediocre, the everyday, like this is what I'm used to, this is what I've done my whole life, and just kind of, make excuses for this is just the way the world is, right? This is just the way things are. And so when people do that, they're already skipping one of the first and most important steps, which is to assess yourself honestly. And I mean, really kind of the way God sees us, right? Nothing is hidden from the Lord. He sees the good we do, the bad we do, what we could do better. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. And so it's not that INFJs have perfect vision like God. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying is we can kind of, I don't know, we can see things clearly. That's all I'm trying to say. We can see things very clearly, and especially not just with ourselves but others. But that tool comes in handy big time when it comes to improving ourselves. And tied in with that very closely is we can also see, sense from others who is giving us honest and accurate judgment of us or the things we do, and those who are just emotionally reacting to us, or who are jealous of or envious or have some hidden motive, and so their judgment is off, or their criticism. So all of these things are really huge strengths for us INFJs because we have a very clear picture of what's going on. I got a little stop now. Hi, Elaine. Elaine's here too. Yeah, so I won't be keeping up with the comments, obviously. But good to see you all. And probably, I'll probably need to wrap this up pretty soon, but I'm able to do a little bit longer live than normal since I'm just driving and chatting. But I like to talk about the INFJ strengths in like a logical, rational, realistic way. Because if you just are perusing INFJ channels, INFJ videos, I should say, there's some that just really hype up the INFJ, like talking like we're godlike people. And then there's others who really harp on the pet peeves, or not the pet peeves, on the negatives. And, oh, it's so easy to be depressed as an INFJ, blah, blah, blah. And because, it's so hard for INFJs. And, while there is some truth to that, there's truth to our strengths side of things. We need to be realistic and live in reality. INFJs are people just like the other 15 personalities or people, and we all have strengths and weaknesses. But at the same time, I love being an INFJ. And if that's your personality, you should love it too, because we do have a lot of really great strengths that are rare to the world. And one of the reasons why I like to talk specifically to other INFJs and anyone who's kind of humanitarian, altruistic in nature, like INFJs are, is because I don't want you to waste that gift, that emotion, that love and grace you have for others, that feeling. Because if you just keep it to yourself, if you just don't interact with others, you're going to miss out on a lot of blessings. Really, that's what it comes down to. Because those are gifts that are meant to be shared, and that's also very biblical, of course. But you can work on your weaknesses at the same time you share your strengths. And if you are going through some kind of depression, I really don't think there's any better way to remedy it on a regular basis than to give to others, to share whatever blessings you have. If you don't have much money, well, maybe time is your blessing. Just being there for people who are lonely, right? If you're lonely, maybe the best way to remedy that is to be with others, to help others who are lonely. You see how that works? But again, if you don't have much money to share and bless others, there are other things, resources that you have, and if it's just your personality itself, that will be a huge blessing to others, because a lot of people aren't willing to take the time and be there for others. But But on the flip side of the money thing, if you have money, hey, there's a whole lot of people who are deserving and in need of financial help. Just like the Philippines Kids program that we have, just countless kids, countless families that need financial help in this world who are great people, and you can help that way. But whatever it is, the main thing is to be very discerning with who you share your time and money and resources with. It is good to do, but you do have to discern. But yet, once again, that's one of the strengths that INFJs have. We are really good at discerning who those people are. We just have to actually take the time to do it. And if you never interact with people, you're never going to find those people. So there is a bit of a weeding out process. And that's okay. That's just how it is. But another benefit of doing that on a regular basis, interacting with people, getting to know people, deciding who you want to share your resources with, is the more you do it, the better you shall get. Ever since I learned more about being an INFJ, what that personality means, because it's my personality traits, I have gotten what feels like 10 times better at honing those skills. And it's become fun. And it's actually also made me better at using my extrovert skills, because INFJs do have the ability to temporarily act as extroverts. We can't do it for long because we'd get drained. It doesn't matter if it's with people we love or don't love so much. We get drained by being in sort of extrovert mode. But INFJs would, I think, best be classified as ambiverts, because although we usually want to be introverted, we have the ability to be extroverted. And the more that you get comfortable interacting with people, kind of challenging yourself in that way, you'll find that you can be extroverted more than you used to. And I only know this from my own experience, really, because in the past, before I knew that I was an INFJ or really understood anything about MBTI, I would have always just said, yeah, I'm an introvert, and I'm not really big on social gatherings and that kind of stuff. But, you know, I can get by or whatever. But now I don't look at it that way. That's because that's really kind of a self-defeating kind of way of looking at it. The way you should look at it is, yeah, I'm an introvert, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that just means you recharge in solitude. So first of all, there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. Some people are introverts, some are extroverts. God made us however he made us. But when you start to realize that you can use your gifts partly by interacting with people, even if it's just a few minutes here and there, you will get better at it. You will kind of come up with your own strategy. And I think that is actually part of the strategy. I just mentioned it, is that it's short periods of time with people. Because, yeah, if I get into a 15, 20, 30-minute discussion with somebody, chances are I'm going to lose some notable energy or focus. Not necessarily in a negative way, but it's kind of like it takes me out of the zone of whatever I wanted to do that day. So you just have to sort of dictate who and when you're going to spend that much time talking to people. But the more you practice this, you'll notice that in like a couple minute or 5 minute chunks, you can actually talk to a lot of people. Maybe not every day, all day, but you can have a lot more interactions and find that it won't drain you. So a lot of it is just mindset and, having a purpose to talk to people. Like INFJs, some others, we don't want to talk about the weather or sports, the game, the scores, like stuff that's trivial for a lot of us. That will drain the life out of us real quick. But if we're talking to people about real things, things that matter, whatever that is, we could easily talk to somebody for 5 or 10 minutes and then go about our day and realize, wow, I still feel good. Actually, I feel great. I'm glad that I talked to them. And so, again, I would say that would be my recommendation, is just start with small doses and challenge yourself. Maybe you've come across some people who you've never really talked to, but as an INFJ, you picked up on the vibe. You picked up on, yeah, this is somebody that I like. I like how they respond when we talk. Maybe it's somebody at a store or whatever. And you're like, this is my kind of person. And you've noticed that before. But you never really took the time to say, hey, how you doing? I'm glad that it's nice to see your smile. Or I like what you're wearing today. It could be anything. But you take that extra step and you give back to them somehow. And it's going to be like one of the highlights of your day. So I think I better wrap it up there, because otherwise I'm not going to get my errands done. And I'm doing a lot of talking. But it just felt like one of those days. And like I said, a good opportunity on the drive. Have to drink some water out of my copper bottle. Gotta hydrate. Some of the best conversations, interactions you'll have with real people is strangers. It's true, Irma. And it's true for all of us. That's just kind of unfortunately, but fortunately, in a weird way. It's nice. It can be a really nice surprise when you have those moments with somebody. And whether you're an INFJ or just somebody with good discernment, intuition, and you can read people, you can just walk up to a stranger, like I said, at a store or wherever you're at, and pick up on that body language, that vibe, that smile, and say, hey, nice to see you today, And it doesn't need to be small talk. You can mention something specific and make their day, make your day. And I say all this to say I'm not always natural at that either. Actually, I'm not. But it's a fun thing to work on. It really is. Oh, hi, Sarah. Welcome. So anyhow, it's been like I said, a while since I did a long live on this channel, so I thought I would go extra long today in the midst of some of my errands. There are more INFJ strengths I could talk about, but that was the topic for today. And make sure, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so and like. This channel is kind of new, relatively, compared to some of my other channels, and it does make a difference to get the views, the coverage on YouTube if you're subscribed and engaging on the content and everything. So I do appreciate you all, and kind of one of the themes of this channel is to do INFJenius unfiltered, meaning there's a lot of channels that just hype up the INFJ personality, and I don't think always give a honest, legit, clear interpretation of what it is to be an INFJ, or an introvert for that matter, in general. And so I do try to do that properly, and also kind of fuse in things I've learned as a teacher, I don't know, musician, entrepreneur, whatever, and tie it all together. Oh, you want me to cook next time? Yeah, sometimes I will cook. It's not really a cooking show, but I love food and I love coffee, which, by the way, I think I will be driving by my favorite new cafe on the way home. I'm gonna have to stop there and get a cup of Ugandan coffee. I never had Ugandan coffee before, but my new favorite coffee shop is, well, it's a Christian owner and all the workers probably, I'm sure. It's just a great local place. They do fair trade with people in Uganda, where the coffee is grown in the mountains, and so they do all the work, but they're actually making money now off their coffee. And these people do fair trade with them. The owner roasts and brews the beans himself. You know, it's like as good of coffee as I've had anywhere since I lived in Hawaii, because I had some great coffee there too. And yeah, just great. Anyway, that's been my go-to place. I try not to go there too often because I could go there every single morning and love their regular coffee, cappuccino, espresso. A lot of times I'll get a coffee and a espresso separately, just because I love the taste of it that much. And I'll just sip on both of them for hours. Anyway, that was my coffee chat. But yeah, Irma, you got Medexus on the way. Yeah, and I'll be talking about Medexus on here too. I got a link in the description, but the Medexus natural supplements, formulations that they are amazing. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to talk about sometimes because I don't want it to come across as like a sales promotion or a pitch, but I wish I could just like give the feelings I have about the products and just like inject them to you through the phone for 5 minutes, so you could see how much of a difference they've made for me and improved my health, got me through chemo, cancer, in much better shape than if I wouldn't have had those supplements. Yeah, and I'm really excited for you, Irma, and Elaine, and everybody. I've had 6 new customers, I think, just over this last weekend for Bright Friday, our promotion. And I'm excited for everybody to get them in the mail and try them, because I know there's going to be more happy success stories, whether it be them feeling more relaxed, improved blood pressure, stronger immune systems, more energy, more focus, better gut health. I mean, it's like there's so many things to talk about, you know? So that's why it's hard to not come to sound like a pitch because there really are so many benefits from these natural products with no side effects, none whatsoever. And you can give them to a child or any age. So it's so awesome. Your blood pressure is great. Fantastic. Yeah, mine has improved a lot. And Tranquility helped me a lot when I had chemo, because my well, not just my blood pressure. I almost watched a guy back into a Tesla, but the Tesla moved in time. That Tesla truck, and yeah, that truck almost backed into him. Craziness. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Tranquility is the supplement from Medexus that helps you regulate healthy blood pressure, and so it reduces your heart rate to a more healthy, natural level if yours is abnormal in any way. And so because of the chemo and cancer, everything I was going through, even when I was resting, my heart rate was probably averaging 115, 120 at times. And, you know, that's not good. And that's also part of the reason why I was tired all the time, because, you know, my body was working overtime, like all day long. And I started taking Tranquility more because I realized, oh, duh, I should have been doing this all along. That's what it's there for. It's a natural way to lower your heart rate, lower your stress, improve your blood pressure. And I could have done it earlier. I didn't even realize it until several months later that I noticed it. And it helped me a lot. It really did. So anyway, many stories I can tell about Medexus supplements. And I should probably wrap it up so I can do my errands, and get that coffee. But good seeing you all. Elaine, Caitlin, Irma, Sarah. I thought I saw somebody else, but maybe not. Well, we had more on here, but not everybody is commenting, and that's okay. So I will see you all again soon. Thanks as always for supporting the INFJenius channel. Make sure you're liked, subscribed, commented. Oh, I only see 2 likes. Is there only 2? Smash it. Smash that like. I want to see one more before I go. I don't know, sometimes it doesn't always pop up even though you hit it. So anyway, yeah, love you all. Take care. God bless. See you soon. Smashed it. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you soon. Bye.